Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, all of my beautiful listeners from all across the vast reaches of the internet. I hope each and every single one of you is doing absolutely spectacular on this fine Tuesday morning, whenever you happen to be listening to this podcast episode, whether that be morning, evening, or in the night. Welcome to the Reddit Asks Us podcast, the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/Askreddit. I am your host, Luke Nick Dick. Now, before we get into the show, if you're listening to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcast, please, 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 I beg of you, leave us a rating and also please leave us a review. It helps out the show so immensely much. So if you could go ahead and please do that, I would be very much appreciated. Remember, you can answer this week's Reddit question by going to the description of the episode in Spotify, and below there you should see a comment section, and you can answer the question or just comment anything generally about the episode or whatever, and I will read that response out loud on the next week's following episode. This is an ad-supported show, so we'll be reading an ad after we read the comments, or about 10 minutes into the episode, and there'll be another ad break about 20-ish minutes into the episode after that. So we'll also have a Would You Rather. So maybe without further ado, I'm doing this kind of without a script because I'm back here in my hometown in Saskatchewan because it's Christmas time, and I'm back from school for Christmas, so I am just doing that. So I'm kind of just riffing on this from reading it about 5,000 times. Just kidding. You can actually count the episodes probably 225 times or something like that, or 235 times. I think maybe we're on episode 235. So we've been doing this for a long time. But anyways, why don't we do a Would You Rather every week? So let me just read off the Would You Rather for last week. So last week's Would You Rather was, I feel like I keep forgetting to read out the Would You Rathers, and then people don't remember to see them. So there is a Would You Rather. So the Would You Rather from last week was, would you rather introduce yourself as an alpha at the beginning of every conversation, or whisper glad that conversation was over after every conversation? And we came in with 100% winner of glad that was over after every conversation. It sounds like everybody, sounds like the fans here, the Reddit askers here are not the most outwardly social of people. Not criticisms. We're not saying any criticisms here, but a unanimous vote, all in favor of saying glad that was over. That's some cold-hearted shit right there. That's putting it all on the other person. That's just like, you know what? This was pointless. This was a waste of time in my entire life. I can't believe I took out the time in my life to have a conversation with you. That was brutal. I just want you to know that was just absolutely awfully terrible. Just so you know that. Instead of just putting it on you and being like, just so you know, before we have this conversation, I'm an alpha male. Just want you to know that. You know, I took my test this morning. Yeah, I know my professors are always asking me, did you take the test? And I already I told them I took the test this morning. I've been taking tests. No, I'm just kidding. But I hope y'all are not too offended by that. I'm just making a light-hearted joke. Let's see what we have here. I forgot to look for a Would You Rather. So let me just pause the episode for a second. I'll come right back with the Would You Rather. Okay, guys. So I did find a pretty fantastic Would You Rather. This one's might cause some controversy in the chat. Okay, this isn't an easy answer. Would you rather have every soda you have be the perfect temperature, nice and cool and cold, but always flat? Or perfectly fizzy. So you know when you have, sometimes this happens with diet. I don't drink a lot of pop or soda, but when I do, I kind of splurge and go for the regular sugar version, because I find the diet stuff just foams in your mouth. It's just I feel like I'm dying or something. Like my mouth is foaming at the seams, and I'm going to start, regressing into some sort of rabies death. It feels like it's just gonna flow out of my nose and every orifice in my body. Or perfectly fizzy, but always at room temperature. So would you rather every time you have a soda, it's perfect temperature, but always flat, or perfectly fizzy, but always room temperature? So think long and hard about that one, my friends. Think long, think hard, deeply in depth. Use that natural philosophical mind of yours to be able to see if you can answer that question. All right, let's read off the responses from last week. So last week was, what's the stupidest thing someone did after being told not to? First one comes from Bobbert. I feel the need to share that my birthday is on the same day that these episodes come out. Oh, that's awesome. Keep up the great quality that these podcasts have, and have a good day, night/afternoon. Well, thank you so much for that comment, Bobbert. I really do appreciate that. Happy birthday. If your birthday already passed, then happy birthday, happy belated. And if your birthday has yet to come, then happy birthday, and you share a close birthday with Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. So that's pretty fantastic. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not religious. Thank you for that comment, Bobbert. Next one comes from Phil Savannah. What's going on, Phil? When I was younger, we went to Tybee, Savannah Beach. I feel like I hope I pronounced that right. Tybee. God, this is what happens when you're a Canadian. With a friend visiting from out of town, we told her not to feed the seagulls. Needless to say, she started feeding one little bits of bread like people do with ducks. It went from 1 seagull to 3 seagulls to over 100 seagulls, all harassing her for bread. She freaked out and started to run away, but they started chasing her. Yeah, because they're fucking wild animals. Like, I don't understand how people, like, people, especially kids and just, like, people in general love to humanize animals. Like, it's like when people, like, this is obviously an exaggerated thing, but it's like when you hear on the news that someone's, like, pet fucking anaconda choked them out to death and murdered them, or that someone tried to have a pet tiger and they ended up getting ripped apart by the seams, and everyone's like, oh my God, that's so horrible, that's so terrible. It's like, can we just backtrack on the fact that this person had a fucking predator, a top tier predator? It doesn't take much to go. Like, humans are the ultimate predator, right? Humans are kind of the ultimate ones. It pretty much goes fucking next to lions, then fucking fucking poisonous snakes. Like, it just those are right next below us on the list. A fucking bear, like, this is, come on, it's not, this isn't the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. You know what the simple bare necessities are? Fucking food. They're gonna eat you, bro. They are going to murder you. If they are hungry, they will fucking rip you limb from limb. Oh my God, I'm going on such a rant about this. But that is hilarious, though. And I have such a massive fear of birds. Like, I just could never. The bird, don't even, like, come on. Don't even at me with the bird stuff. The best part is that when she was running away, she dropped a trail of Cheez-Its, so they just kept following her. Oh, my God. That is something, it's a lesson that once you learn, you know that forever. That will be, I don't care if you get crippling dementia. You're going to always remember that. It's going to just live in your mind. Next one comes from JJ. One time, little 5-year-old me was walking around a new house, and I was told not to touch the electrical outlets. Oh my God, JJ. I did. Got shocked and cried and had a fear of electrical outlets for a while. Also, half of the conversations I have now, I feel like I have to whisper that I'm glad it's over. That was from the Would You Rather, but excuse me. That's so funny. It's it's so interesting how there was, like, such a campaign when I was a kid about kids putting forks in electrical outlets, and I'm like, I can't lie. I never had the inclination to want to stick a fork into electrical outlet. Like, it was something about the electrical outlet. Like, hear me out. Something about the electrical outlet just didn't seem appetizing to me. You know, it's like, I understand some people like crunchy food, or I don't know, there's microwaves are in walls maybe, but a fork, trying to just stick it in there, never really stuck out to me as an appetizing move. Like, I didn't think I was going to get anything out of that. I didn't think I was going to have to, get any, or I didn't think I was going to have the privilege to have any delicious or succulent sustenance coming from the wall. But you know what? That's fair, though. I mean, especially if most conversations you're having are just, like, online too. Like, I'm not saying that is the most conversations that you're having, but especially like just the Instagram comment section. Like if there was a way to bring that into person, and it's just like, oh my God, I'm just glad that because there's so many times where I'll comment something, especially if it's like sports related, it's like a hot take or something, or it might even not necessarily a hot take, but I'll just like say my take or whatever, and people just immediately in the comments just start absolutely ripping you. You kind of just have to be like, you know what, this isn't worth it. I have faith in myself. You know what? I value my own knowledge, and I'm gonna stick with it on this one. I think I'm gonna think I'm gonna be proud of myself and my knowledge, and just I'm gonna hold back all the urges I have to basically reply an entire essay. Next one comes from Dusty. Last one here. A little late for my comment because week break was busy. Because week break was busy in school, but I got something for the prompt. My junior year, first few weeks, and this freshman was bumping into people, me included, trying to start shit. Golden rule of high school, don't start shit, basically fuck around and find out. So soon after he did this, especially, it sounds like you live in the United States because you're referring to people as juniors and freshmen. We in Canada, we don't really do that. So soon after he did his things, he made the mistake of instigating another junior who was a football player, ROTC, weightlifting class. Needless to say, I was happy that he got his shit rocked. Merry Christmas. They actually got his shit rocked. He actually fucked him up. That's crazy. That is wild. He just was like, you know what? I've had enough. Boom! Just absolutely smokes him in the head. Sorry if that was loud, folks. I'm using a rental microphone because my mic is back in Nova Scotia, and I thought I was going to be able to record a couple episodes beforehand, but I was not able to, unfortunately. So I think I did. I just read the Would You Rather off? Yeah, I did. Obviously, I spent a lot of time on that. Okay. All right, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to hop into today's episode. Welcome back to the Reddit Asks Us podcast. I'm so absolutely stoked to be back in here with y'all again today for another episode of the Reddit Asks Us podcast. So as you can tell from the episode title, what was your favorite oops, I really just fucked up moment? Obviously, the title doesn't use that verbiage, that language, but because this is we try to keep this. No, this isn't even a PG program. This is an explicit program. I don't even know why. But you know what? At least the titles. We try to keep the titles PG. I think I've told this story before, but this was kind of one of my climax moments of being a teenager and just realizing I absolutely just dogged the pooch on this one. But I remember I was going to get my ears pierced. Which is again. Every parent would that's already off to a great start. I'm taking my dad's truck to go get my ears pierced. Already a great start to the story. My parents definitely ecstatic that I was going to get my ears pierced. I park in the mall parking lot, and I am driving up a parkade, like a concrete parkade, and the truck my dad's truck fit underneath the little overhang that, says, oh, you can't drive in here unless it's like 8 feet or 7 feet or something. So it fit. So I was like, all right. But I soon found out that was a lie. It did not fit. I tried to drive it up a floor and scratch the roof of my dad's truck. And then I ended up not telling him about it. And then he obviously found out because I did this happened in the wintertime, and then because there was snow on the top of the truck. And then inevitably, when weather gets warmer, I don't know if you guys know this, but snow melts when weather gets warmer. And the entire top of my dad's roof of his truck was scratched. And, it's a truck. So you're going to be in the truck bed, and he was loading stuff in and just noticed, I didn't do this. There's literally only one person who could have done this. And so I had to come clean and admit that. So that was a moment where I could just never forget the sound of the scraping. That was very vivid. That's very vivid in my memory. So we are going to begin with the first comment from Big Fops. I was a brand new right out of college computer programmer, back before we had software developers. We worked on mini computers at the time, and I had a long process that I needed to run, which tied up my terminal. I went into the storage closet and dragged out another terminal so that I could do stuff while the process ran. An old version of multitasking. You kids have no idea how easy you have it nowadays. Well, because the new kid had 2 terminals, none of the other programmers wanted to look less productive, so everyone else did that. Then a week or so later, the president of the company came back to the programmer area so he could mess around with some new hardware that came in. He looked around and said, "Looks like everybody has 2 terminals now." Being a smartass, I quipped, "Well, we all have 2 hands," which was met with silence. Usually my quips get at least a chuckle. It was then that I remembered that the president of the company did not, in fact, have 2 hands. He had a birth defect, and one did not develop properly. Oh my God. You cannot do... Oh. I'm assuming I hope he really didn't make your life hell for the rest of the job term that you had there. But that's going to be tough. You got to be aware then now. No more, playful hand expressions anymore. No more hand references. Like you can't just double down after that. Like you gotta admit the fault, and you gotta just take that. Like if you can't just be like, "Hey, listen, Jim, can I give you a hand?" No, it's all good. It's all good. I'm here every day. No, I think that you kind of you got to be after that. You really got to own up to the very problematic choice of language on that one. There's no giving hands anymore. No handouts. Like, I know you're not giving any handouts. Is that? Am I just? Yeah, no handouts here. We don't know. Jim's gonna make sure no one gets a handout. His hand's not out. I can tell you right that. No, it's yeah. You would. You got to shut that shit down. You gotta shut that shit down. He's gotta. If he laid it on you, I'm not saying you deserve it. Obviously, honest mistake. But if you double down, that's where the problem is. That's where, I don't think it's one of those moments where you can just be like, it's fine. Like, everyone can take a joke. Everyone's so sensitive nowadays. It's like, no, I think you're just an asshole. That's just, it's not, you can't, this is one where you just can't move past that. That is incredibly tough. Reply from Reasonable Coconut 15. I just kind of died from secondhand embarrassment. I have been in that position before, and there's nothing quite as mortifying as that dawning realization as to what you just did. My head is getting hot just thinking about it. Yeah, it is unfortunate. That is unbelievably unfortunate. There's a reply from Moderately Gruntled. One time I was interviewing for a job that I really wanted, and I was on my second or third interviewer of the day, who happened to be the son of the owner of the company. The door of the room that he had entered through was behind me, so I didn't have any time to really assess this guy or take him in at all. I stood up and turned around and immediately went in to shake his hand. His hand had a birth defect, and by the time I clocked it, I was already making contact with him, so I couldn't really just correct course or anything. I certainly couldn't just yank my hand back in surprise. Yeah, that would just be like, you cannot just be like, ugh! Like, you would, like, like, what is that? No, that you top ways to just be blacklisted from every possible job. You cannot do that. That is just, there's a very, small amount of reactions that are going to be good. It's not the time for jokes, though. Not the time. Absolutely not the time to crack a joke there. But where am I here? I certainly just couldn't yank past, so I kind of soldiered through it and did the best approximation of a handshake that I could do. Well, still not necessarily him not having a hand, but he got the job though. He said he got the job. So maybe it was just the respect. Maybe it's just you kind of had to just commit to it. You just have to, if there's just not a full hand there, you just got to go in and just boom, just give it a solid grab. And, it kind of just goes to show you, like, listen, I'm willing to fill the gaps, okay? I'm willing to be able to just be a part of the team here, okay? I'm willing to lend a hand, okay? That's a better one. I'm willing to lend you a hand, okay? Then not saying that you couldn't have the hands, all right, or to do it yourself. I'm just saying that if you wanted a hand to be lent, if there's a lented hand being offered, that hand is being offered in good faith by me. That's, you know what? I think I'm willing to do that. That's the kind of employee and the kind of work ethic that I've got here. Definitely willing to lend a hand. All right, next one comes from Stupid Sexy Flanders. I prepaid for gas and never pumped it. I just paid, walked out the door, and got in my car and drove off. Well, you know what? No one needs a donation more than the oil companies. You're just throwing them a bone. Really, it's like, you know what? It's tough times nowadays. It's expensive times. Things are only getting more expensive. It's not cheap to live. And, I'm just trying to, send up my blessings and just let Shell Corporation know that I really appreciate you guys. I am just trying to let, ExxonMobil and all of these massive oil tycoons, I really just want them to know, listen, I know gas prices are high. And I know everyone's coming for your throats, all right? But I just want you to know I support you. I support massive business, okay? Me as an individual person who doesn't work within any business industry at all, it's always, we always talk about the little guy. How about the big guy, okay? Where's the conversation of, okay, everybody, it's probably really stressful for these oil companies to have to be charging us more money because they have to deal with us freaking out about it. That's, I can't imagine how stressful that would be. So I'm just trying to throw these massive oil companies a bone and just let them know that, okay, it is absolutely okay to charge more money for gasoline and something that people just have absolutely no control over. I think you should be charging more for gasoline. That's why I just dropped $200 on the prepaid gas just to kind of, I'm like, don't even put gas in anyone's tank. Like, don't even think about that. I'm not trying to pay for someone else's gas. Are you kidding me? No, absolutely not. That money, I just want you to know, I just want to go right to the big man, right to the top guy upstairs in the highest building, the tallest floor. I just want him to know I'm looking out for you. All right. Put that $200 on your bonus, okay? I know your bonus is probably something like, I don't know, $5 million maybe this year. I just want you to know that, I'm looking out for you too. The little guy's looking out for you. So I know you're welcome. Reply from Peasant Scar 9811. Buddy in college once pulled out $200 of an ATM, grabbed his card, and left the money. Oh man, he's just looking out for whoever's there, just you know what, I thought I'd just take money. I just felt like taking money out. I'm not going to use it or anything. I just kind of just felt like just taking it out, just looking at it. I really like ATMs. Like I just really like, I had a toy ATM when I was a kid, one of those like plastic ATMs, that you get like with the counter and pretending to work at the grocery store, all that little play set as a kid. I had one of those. And, something about that just really fostered my love for taking money out of the bank. Like, not even spending. I don't want to spend it. Are you kidding me? I couldn't even think about, fathom possibly spending that money. But, something about just the feeling of just seeing it, put my card in, punch in those numbers, and I'm just like, wow, this is unbelievably satisfying. So I'm so broke. Every paycheck I get just comes right out of the ATM, just immediately out of the ATM. And you know what? windy day. Try to look for a windy day. Sometimes the money just goes blowing everywhere. And you know what? It's just, it's not about that for me. It's not about the money. Okay, I could live without the money. Well, I can't live without the money. I'm starving to death and I can't pay any of my bills, but it's really about just following your passions, right? I know that that's what my mom said. Follow your passions some way, somehow it's going to lead you. It's going to lead you to accomplishing your goals. But you know what? I'm just holding out. I'm holding out because I feel strongly about this. I really do. Next one comes from earhumble1248. It was my first day as a help desk technician. I had been asked to change printer toner on the main printer in the company office. I pulled the black toner out and dropped it. The thing exploded like it was New Year's fireworks. All over me, all over the floor, all over the printer. Even 10 years later, I still think they're digging toner out of the cubicle. I looked like one of those cartoon images where Elmer Fudd was given a bomb just before it exploded and then blew up. Fortunately, my boss was my friend, and he laughed his ass off. Photos, email distribution, the works. He just manipulated you. He was just like, well, if you want to keep your job, I'm going to need you to do a couple poses for me. Okay? I'm going to need you to do just, throw the hands behind the head. We're going to, you know what? How badly do you want this job? How badly do you want this job? Because we're going to go to the wit's end, okay? This is, I'm just an actual terrible person. And we're going to get dark. We're going to get really dark. No pun intended. Possibly pun intended. I'm going to make you unemployable. So now you have to work for me because I'm going to take a photo with you wearing basically covered in black. And I think you can kind of discern out next how the public is going to react to that. So now we get to be best friends forever. Thank you. You really did yourself a favor on this one. You did me and yourself a favor because you'll never have another boss in your entire life. I'm just kidding. But that's insane. That's insane. He's like, photos, email distribution, the works. I made my best effort to clean it up until the facilities guy shoved me aside and said, let me do it. With his nuclear-powered backpack vacuum. He's just a Ghostbuster. Ghostbusters. Toner Busters. It's just the Ghostbusters, just if there's no ghosts to bust, just also clean out toner like accidents. It's like, hey, aren't you guys the Ghostbusters? I ain't afraid of no ghost. Like, shouldn't you guys be busting ghosts? Like, I didn't think our office had a ghost. No, it's like, Bill Murray? What are you doing here? No, it's just in the off season, in the off season when there's no ghosts ghosting. Sometimes it happens, all right? June, July, the ghosts are out, man. They're out of the house. They want to get that sun. They get very pale. The ghosts get very pale. So they really just want to get a couple extra the UV rays. So there's not a ton of work in the summer for us. Ghosts don't really tend to be, ghosting a whole lot in the summer. If anything, the ghosts are ghosting us. Little play on the word ghosting for you there. So we just kind of, we have to take up some other jobs. So toner explosions. It's very specific problems that we have to deal with that need the power of these vacuums. They, for some reason, don't really vacuum up great other normal things. Like we can't really vacuum floors or anything like that. But toner accidents, you'd be surprised. The Ghost Sucker 9000 is actually kind of oddly geared towards toner accidents. But that's crazy though. I mean, like it's funny that your boss like had to distribute emails and photos and stuff, and you're just like, yeah, it's like totally fine. Like, yeah, just like take a picture of me. It's like, yeah, I don't really think that was like, fully consented. Let's see. Next one comes from Blue Jean Crash. I was about 3 weeks into a new restaurant job. This is a reply, sorry. A new restaurant job, still really new, but with just enough experience to start feeling a bit of confidence. Was sent to go grab a big batch of salad dressing from the walk-in to portion it out into individual serving sizes. Cool. I actually know where that is. Well, the tub slipped out of my hands and fell straight down so that instead of just spilling, five listers of dressing shot into the air like a volcanic explosion. I was covered and the shelves to the floor were soaked, and it was even dripping from the ceiling. And I'm standing there in shock and horror, and one of the line cooks says, "Oh, saucy." There's no way that someone just quipped off with that. No one's concerned for you. Some creepy line guy is just like, "Damn, you're looking hella saucy for me. Damn, did you do that shit just for me? I could tell, babe. You're looking so saucy right now. And I was just trying to get all up in that, you know? Just trying to... I love the way, man. We could spend all day on this ranch." It's like, my eyes are burning. This is a serious health code violation. And you're concerned about saucy? It had to be sucked to clean up. Sheesh, that does sound saucy. Had to be sucked. All this sauce has to be sucked. Had to pull out all of the shelves and everything else, but at least we could squeegee everything from the floors right to the floor drains. And of course, I had to work the rest of my shift coated in vinaigrette. Thank God I no longer work for the food service. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that was a great showing. First day out. I gotta say, I can't say that was, you know, your best performance. But you know what? I've been there, you know, breaking plates. I used to work in a restaurant too, so, you know, when you're packaging up some stuff in the back and you just, a couple chicken wings fall on the ground, it's definitely demoralizing, you know. The boss isn't coming back, you know, with a smile on their face. That's for sure. And you can't even eat those chicken wings. They won't even let you, because I tried. Believe me, I tried. I begged for those chicken wings. Nothing. Next one comes from Fake August. I had just started a new job as a registered sales assistant at a major firm. All fresh and excited with my new Series 7, I was ready to do trades. My supervisor handed me a client statement and told me to liquidate the holdings, not noticing that some of the holdings were highlighted, and I proceeded to liquidate the entire account instead of just 25% of it. Worst part, I didn't realize it until she came over. She could see what trades in real time I was selling and asked me what I was doing. I got red heated and ran to compliance to get it fixed. Our compliance officer told me to dry my tears, take a walk, and have a Coke, and get the fuck out. I'm just kidding. It doesn't say that. He called it my rite of passage. Never had another trading area. Yeah, this is your rite of passage. You're never going to get hired ever again. So how is that for a rite of passage? You will be forever barred from all financial firms. We are letting everybody know that you just basically sold off all of somebody's assets. So I know it's a hard learning curve, steep learning curve in the financial industry, but you know, maybe you can look into crypto scams. I heard crypto scams are really popping off right now, a couple pump and dumps. You know, maybe that's something you can look into, because managing legitimate money just doesn't seem like it's for you. So we called the client. We let them know your name, your address, your social insurance number, basically everything about you. Wanted to let you know that client actually was a ex-CIA operative. So you are on extremely thin ice, and I think you should just be very wary of your movements. You know, I wouldn't stay out in the sun too long. I wouldn't be out in front of big groups of people. All right, I wouldn't. You know, it's I'd move elusively if I were you on that one. Yeah. Because some of those holdings, you know, were acquired by him and the CIA, and they are some of the most valuable holdings on the entire planet. So I think. Yeah, just keep your head on a swivel. Head on a swivel. Just letting you know, it's you should be fearing for your life about right now. You should be very scared. And you may end up suffering fatal consequences because of this. But that's just the learning curve. Okay, that's just the learning curve that the financial industry demands of you. Okay, it's nothing more simpler than that. Just just watch your move next time. And, well, there may not be a next time, unfortunately, for you. But you know what? Just maybe just you could have a kid real quick. Try your best and just send on that lesson. But, it is the CIA, and they are pretty good at eliminating bloodlines. So maybe that's not the best move either. No, you're fucked. But yeah, basically, so someone explained in the comments that, in case you wasn't exactly sure what that was about, basically this person sold off an entire investment portfolio instead of just a couple of the stocks. So it's like, so I did that work that you were looking for me to do. I sold all, I think he had a couple hundred Bitcoin, sold them all those Bitcoin are gone. So you're welcome. Yeah, it was something crazy. My commission is going to be pretty spectacular on that one. Yeah. You sold 100 Bitcoin. That's... So I don't even know how much 100 Bitcoin is even worth. How much is 100 Bitcoin worth? Let's so BTC to USD. One Bitcoin is worth $100,000. 100 Bitcoins is, what is this? About $10 million, I believe is that number. Yes. $10 million worth of Bitcoin. Gone. Yeah, I know. Don't even sweat. Don't even thank me. Literally don't even thank me. $10 million is, it's a lot to move for my first day, but I think I got it done. I think I got the job done. People really... I was selling it for pretty cheap, actually. So I didn't even sell it for anywhere close to $10 million. You said you wanted it gone, so I was, half off discounts. Am I right? But yeah, so there's absolutely no Bitcoin left in the person's account. We were selling it cheap, and it was really easy to sell. You'd be surprised. I was quite fascinated how, fast that Bitcoin was flying off the shelf. Next one comes from Midnight Son of a Bitch. My brother, that's the username, I'm not just saying that. Midnight Son of a Bitch. Brother tells a tale of woe about the day his college girlfriend was obviously just itching for a fight. They were hanging out when she complained about the weight she'd gained. This is already off to such a great start. He said he hadn't noticed. She called him a liar. He maintained that he hadn't noticed. Finally, she's like, dude, I'm exactly 5 feet tall, and I've gone from 100 pounds to 110. That's like 20 pounds on a regular-sized person. What do you mean a regular-sized person? The average height of a woman is 5'2". Okay, you were 2 inches shorter than the average height of a woman. Oh, no, just kidding. Is the average height maybe like 5'4"? Still, 4 inches? That is not how weight works. Gaining 10 pounds, it's not like, well, that's basically 20 pounds on a regular person. You are a regular person. You're not disabled or something. Like, I don't understand. Like, you're not just a freaking blob that walks around, just rolls around. How could you not notice? Either you're lying or you don't notice me at all. Which is it? So finally, bro reluctantly said, I guess I can see it a little, but you look great. She immediately interrupted with, oh my God, I can't believe you just called me fat. This led to the biggest fight they had ever had until their eventual breakup 2 years later. Wow. I'm just going to let you know right now, bro. You wasted 2 years. Why? Like, how could you be in a conversation, an entirely manipulative and unbelievably just textbook gaslighting conversation, and you think to yourself, I could do 2 more years of it. Yeah, I could just, you know what this relationship is just begging right now? 2 more years. I'm just really feeling we could just stretch this one out. I could find a partner that's good for me. It actually matches my, my energy, my vibe, and is genuinely a nice person instead of, a person who's manipulating and gaslighting. But I think, where's the fun in that? I think that sounds boring. Boring. I'm an exciting guy, okay? I like excitement. I'm all about trying to, just live on the edge. And I'm thinking this is screaming long-term relationship material, okay? This is screaming stability to me right now. It's really not, but I cannot help myself. Yeah, it's like I would have known within the last 2 seconds of that conversation, and it turns out bro needed 2 years to figure that out. Next one comes from Lowell. Recommended a buddy of mine to work with me. Gave him extremely high praises because he truly does deserve it. He failed the drug test. They found cocaine in his system. Last time I ever recommended anyone for a job. Yeah, you can't really come back from that one. That one's kind of tough. Like, how do you defend your friend after that? Like, you can't just go to your boss and be like, listen, I know you found the coke, but how do you expect him to get all his work done? Okay, he grinds. It's kind of a pretty synergistic relationship that he has with coke. It's nothing like I've ever seen in my life. It's kind of impressive, to be honest with you. He grinds. He does not stop. He has that drug addict mentality, that mentality of just, he's not going to quit. He's not going to quit. He has said that multiple times. He's been actually quite aggressive about that perspective. He is not going to quit. He will never quit. But you know what? Why do we want any quitters? Why do we want quitters at this company? Mr. Boss Man. I really think we need to be having a genuine conversation, asking ourselves, we don't want people who are going to give up, who are just gonna quit on everyone. No, that's not what we want. We want people who are gonna follow through on what they say. My friend, no, he's far gone. He is too far gone. But you know what? Maybe we just don't give him the health insurance. How about that? But other than that, he works insanely hard. Sidetracked maybe sometimes a lot, but still he gets multiple jobs done. He's a multitasker. That's insane. Like fucking coke. Like you cannot just be like, other than that, he's just a great guy. Other than the small cocaine addiction, he is a stand-up coworker. Don't confront him about anything, especially all the time when he's on coke. Just don't confront him about a single thing, and we will be perfectly fine. Don't raise your voice at him. He may inflict verbal abuse onto you. Just give him what he wants. Just give him what he wants. Money, anything, please. All right, we are going to wrap it up there for today's and this week's episode. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Reddit Asks Us podcast, the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/AskReddit. I am your host, Luke Dick. Now, please remember to leave us a rating and also leave us a review if you happen to be listening to this show, wherever you happen to be listening to the show. Please go ahead and do that. It helps with the show so immensely much. Remember, join our subreddit, r/Reddit Asks Us. And other than that, I don't know if I have anything else left to say. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I love each and every single one of you. Peace out. Love you. Goodbye.